Good afternoon and welcome to the workbench. Today I'm just doing a little quick short video on fuses. In fact, these two here specifically, and an interesting phenomenon that is the fact that they do not appear to be blown, but in fact they are. And I just want to draw attention to the fact that fuses do not always fail spectacularly or even obviously. And these ones in particular do not look very suspicious whatsoever, and yet both are completely dead. Now these two particularly are from multimeters on the 200 milliamp range, and these are in fact 200 milliamp fuses. Both of these fuses visually appear to be perfectly fine, and in fact if I have a look here, if I can focus on this, you can probably see that the fuse wire looks perfectly intact. But now let's have a look and see what happens when we actually give them a test. So I've got this little multimeter here set to 200 ohms, and if you see what happens when I put the probes together, we get a very low ohm reading, 0.6, 0.5 ohms, or thereabouts, 0.4 even, if I hold them tight. But if I test these fuses, and I would expect to see the exact same result, very low, under 1 ohm reading, because they should just be a piece of wire. If I do that, we get nothing whatsoever. And if I try the other one, same thing. Completely open circuit. Doesn't even flash and show a high resistance reading. So these things are both burnt out, either detached physically from vibration or something, or they've just melted on the end where it's not obvious and you can't see through the glass. That's where they've failed. In contrast to a brand new one, these are genuine German ones, which I bought from RS Components. These I decided to upgrade to the ceramic style ones, even though these meters kind of thing are very cheap and it's sort of irrelevant. But there you go, there's a brand new fuse. If we check that on the resistance range, we get a very low reading. Okay, it's actually higher than 1 ohm. I didn't expect that, but given it's such a small fuse, I suppose that makes sense. Anyway, there you go. Test it with the meter. It's obviously fine, but visually, testing these ones visually, you have no idea, because both of them, see if this will focus again. No, but anyway, as you saw before, the fuse wire in both of these fuses does not appear to be bad at all, and yet they both are bad. So, just a thing to look out for. Don't just assume that fuses are okay just because they look okay. The only sort of telltale sign on these that might be considered obvious is the fact that the fuse wire is not completely straight through the body of the fuse. It kind of curves at one end, which does sort of suggest that it has detached from one of the end caps, and again that might have just been from being dropped. The fuse wire in these low current fuses is very fine, so it may have been weakened at the point where they've welded it onto the end cap, and it could snap if it was dropped or something. In any case, if you have any doubts whatsoever, just do a continuity or low ohms resistance check with your fuse and just see what happens. And there we go. Not obviously dead fuses that are in fact dead.